Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the roadside edition of Beyond the Ordinary show. I'm doing this from the back of my car. I was traveling in California, making this very pivotal pit stop for this gift that we're receiving today as a community. And the gift is, of course, Alicia Power, our speaker tonight. And Alicia's just going to take over. There's messages she has to transmit to us, a remembrance, if you will. The topic is remembering you as a being of light. And Alicia's just going to dive in. I'm going to step back, and if I'm called upon, I'm here. But I really hope that you guys can sit back, relax, receive, and open to, yeah, exactly that, remembering you as a being of light. If you're not familiar with Alicia, a lot of y'all are. Some of you are new to the show. Alicia is a master energy healer and a spirit telepath. So Alicia Power has been trained by creator being spirit mentors for 21 years. And these decades of direct from spirit training and intense initiations means she brings high spiritual authority to affect fast change to a person's soul evolution, soul wound history, and spiritual leadership. And it's with that, Alicia, that I welcome you to tonight's call on Beyond the Ordinary show.
Oh my God. We're all here. Oh my gosh.
Alicia, I know you're about to take off and they're just chomping at you to start sharing, but I have to ask you, for my own curiosity, you say you've been taken through intense initiations. What did that consist of? Or what were some of those experiences? Or what was the intensity and what was on the other side of that?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Huge question. Excuse me. So I've been playing with these creator level, senior level of the worlds of spirit, creator being levels that are overseeing universes for 30 years, not 21 years, 30 years now, going on for 3 decades, over 3 decades. And wow. So near the beginning, their query to me, because I became a spirit telepath very quickly, like really early on when I started to connect with the worlds of spirit, and they were training me in doing energy healing way back then, 3 decades ago. And then 2 years after I started chatting with the worlds of spirit nice and clearly, and them training me deep in energy work, the creator beings arrived, tapped me on the shoulder, went, "We're now your primary mentors." And then the first thing they started to do was just with their level of authority, because they've got the capability and authority to slice through layers of density, and because they can, it's their authority to go into the deepest part of our Akashic records and to clean up gateways to shadow. So they did that. That was a methodical strengthening of my base, because they wanted to land very high frequency light into all my electromagnetic fields and to just absolutely make it rock solid so that I wasn't leaking shadow in some of those really deepest. And these archives and soul wounds relate to Atlantis and like major moments in etheric history and human history, right through the eons and the eons of my personal soul's journey and history. So that was their very first focus. And then they started, just very quickly, they started to push me into parts of that. It was like part of that cleaning up of the old concrete. Part of that was pushing my conscious mind into the deep, darkest parts of my subterranean psychic history. And you guys all know as an audience that what that often feels like is you're moving through realities in this physical dimension that echo resonances from really, really, really old wounds. And you just have to just kind of drink it again and kind of morph above it and move through it. And the psychic mentors were holding me so steady. One of the, just really quickly, big important point is they're beyond shadow. They're above shadow. So they monitor shadow and can easily transmute it if they need to. So here's me as a human still in that light and shadow. As a soul and as a spirit, the spirit world is full of shadow, full of light beings and shadow beings, and the armies, and they're always moving against each other and trying to figure each other out. And there's reasons behind that. There's kind of like a software configuration behind that, which pushes consciousnesses into empowerment. Hey, who thought this up? Anyway, so I just want to say that those times, I was taken into some of the deepest, darkest times, but totally held by these high authority beings, and huge competency. And a word I like to use with them is just their level of integrity with holding you steady and kind of beyond the shadow, but still having to feel the shadow as you move through it. And all the while having lucid conversations with them, nice, clear debriefing with them and conferencing them with them. But this is a long time ago. This is over 2 decades ago that I had to go through a lot of these very, very deep initiations back into my own old powerful shadow wounds, like the big ones, because they wanted to clean the whole thing up. And so there are constant initiations, because one of the beautiful things, guys, this is a bit off topic with what I wanted to talk about today, but one of the beautiful things of dialoguing directly with your spirit mentors is that they can push you into higher and higher platforms of empowerment in this lifetime. That's the gift that they can give you. If you turn around to them, tell them that that's what you want, but you're about to go through it, right? But there is a deliberateness about that beautiful dialoguing and partnering with them. It's incredibly deliberate. And to peel away the amnesia, to peel away the disempowerment, to peel away the not remembering, and this is getting onto topic actually of what we really want to talk about today, to peel away the unremembering that we are this huge being of light. Because we've all, let's get into it, we've all been birthed into a human body. And many of us, as we were tiny little infants, were picking up clues about how the humans worked around us, picking up clues about how they even communicated, picking up clues, hey, you guys, this is what was happening for me. How did they manage their emotions? Right. So as a newborn baby, you're watching your parents, or you're completely, your radar, your auric field is merged with theirs, and you're feeling all their micro reactions every moment. So you're feeling where they're at inside themselves. Are they giving themselves away? Are they disempowered? Are they confused? Are they clear? Are they creative? Are they empowered? Are they? So this is your first entry into human land, and observing the systems, the energy systems, the emotional systems, the mental systems of these people around you. Mind you, you've just gone through, spending 9 months in utero and feeling all those emotions of your mother subliminally, of course. But all of it's going in, all of it's training and all of it's learning. So we're by osmosis observing humans. And what I quickly want to say, everyone, and this is, the topic today is us as soul. And so we are observing. Now, who's observing, right? Because it's a jumble, it's a mishmash, you're moving through life and the continuum so fast, so quickly. It's like emotional survival, depending on how the level of equanimity, of evenness and calmness in your emotional environment that you get born into. But all the while you're observing, and all the while you're learning. And quite often I'm just going to quickly say, but who's learning? Who's observing? Because we dive headfirst into the busyness, the loudness, the cacophony, the movement, the busyness of human experience, eating, sleeping, and all the rest of it. And dealing. I was born into a family of 3 brothers above me, and I've got another 2 brothers below me, like a nice big rouse about, you know, this family, the rumble and the noise and the chaos and the joy and just the activity and the creativity. I'm just saying, just really quickly, that as soul, we're witnessing ourselves as human. And this whole scramble to figure out how everybody else figures is operating on that emotional state, etc. And can we hold our rudder steady? Are we able to remember ourselves as soul in amongst all of that? Probably not. I don't think many people do. The shutters of amnesia comes down and we just keep trying to figure it out and keep trying to figure it out and keep trying to blend in and keep trying to operate so that we survive emotionally, so that we keep getting loved, so that we keep getting fed, etc., etc. I remember there was a really key moment when I was about, let me just remember how old I was. I think I would have been about 4 or 5. Was I about 4 or 5 or 6, something like that? And I want all of you watching this to have a think in your childhood, right near the beginning, if you had a major moment of a decision about how you managed physicality, how you managed the emotional landscape around you. So this moment, really young, I just kept witnessing the adults. I loved my mum and dad. They were just incredible. And I kept witnessing the adults around me disengaging from what they truly felt. Anyone who's done therapy understands that that's the very first thing you have to reconfigure in your brain, is noticing what you're feeling, because we're usually trained very quickly not to notice what we're really feeling and to be set like a dial set in obligation mode, like how to be polite, how to not ruffle any feathers, just how to, you know, how to look okay to everybody else, right? And none of that is about noticing what you're really feeling. So way back, 5 years old, 6 years old, I came to this, I had to stop in my mind and I went, I'm noticing that the people I love aren't noticing what the truth is inside themselves about what they're feeling. Great people, it was a big European community. We were having gatherings all the time with all of our extended community. It was just really social. And this major decision happened to me at 5 or 6 years old, where I went, I am never going to lose touch with the truth of who I am and the truth of what I'm feeling. And I just quickly want to say that I probably did lose touch and did a sort of a bit of a circle, did some therapy decades later and got back in touch with the truth of how I was feeling and felt that ground zero again inside myself of authenticity. But I just watched my siblings and my parents and everyone around me live a life that wasn't real. It was according to what they thought everybody else wanted them to be. And I just want to say that I'd like everybody to close their eyes just for a brief moment and take a nice deep breath. We're going to do a quick little process here. And I'd like you to imagine yourself as a little child looking up at the adults that were around you. This is a moment of not feeling uncomfortable. It's a moment of feeling comfortable. And I'd like you to just notice, because you're smaller than everybody else, so you're looking up. And I'd like you to notice that you're not being noticed for who you really are. Maybe you're busy, maybe everybody else is busy. There's a lot of action going on. Hopefully you're loved. So what I'd love you to notice is the feeling in you that you're not really seen. And also what I'd like you to notice, as we've got our eyes closed, is that just behind you is a very tall being of light. And this is your soul. And your soul is just staying close. It's just a visual bit of imagery happening here, mental imagery. So your soul is staying close, but your soul is also looking at all the people around you and seeing the truth of how they all feel and how they're operating. Are they tight? Are they uncomfortable inside themselves? And what does your soul want to say to them? Because maybe it didn't have a chance to say anything in its truth. Maybe it wants to say to them who it really is. And do you know, we're going to have an amazing moment right now. I'd like you to imagine that all those people around you are now looking at your soul and seeing it. How are they reacting to seeing your soul, meeting your soul? We're going to switch the places we're in right now, and I'm going to get you to imagine that you are at school. Your soul is still behind you. You're on the playground, and there's a group of friends around you, and they now can see your soul. How are they reacting? And now imagine that you're in the classroom and you go right up to the front of the class. The teacher is sitting down because you're about to do something. And you let your soul write with some chalk on a big blackboard at the front of the room. Just let it write something. I'd like you to just read quietly what your soul is writing on the blackboard. And now I'd like you to turn around. I'd like your soul to turn around and face the classroom. And I'd like your soul to tell the whole class what it would love to do in this lifetime. Remember, you're a child in this classroom. So the soul is at the front of the room, facing the whole class, and it's telling the class what it would love to do in this lifetime. So listen carefully. And now imagine the child you coming up to the soul and speaking to your soul and telling it that it agrees, okay, this is what I'm going to do in this lifetime. And the whole class is clapping and applauding, the teacher's applauding, and a starburst of light just explodes in the class. And everybody in the class is imbued with the light from this giant starburst explosion of light. Everybody's downloaded with the most beautiful, sparkling, high frequency light that just arrives and explodes right there in the classroom. Everybody gets an incredible, beautiful download of software of love. And now what I'd love you to do is imagine that you're walking onto a stage. Your soul, this huge being of light that you are, is behind you. And there's a vast auditorium. There's several thousand people in front of you. You've come to the front of the stage, in front of the microphone. And now you step to one side and you allow your beautiful soul of light to step forward in front of the microphone. And I'd like you to listen to what the soul, your soul, is saying to this huge audience. This is a beautiful moment for you. Listen carefully. And watch the audience's reaction. And now, everyone, you're doing so beautifully, so well. I'd like you to imagine that you are standing on the speaker's podium at the United Nations and you've got the leaders of the world in the audience. And I'd like you, with your soul is there, to again stand aside gently and just allow your soul to step forward to the microphone. And I'd like you to hear what your soul says to the leaders of the world. Now, remember, there's this incredible dichotomy happening that your soul is a huge spirit of light, a huge being of light. And it's speaking to a big room of the leaders of humanity. So there's two worlds present there, human world and the spirit world. You as a vast spirit being. This is your chance to speak to the leaders of humanity. Let's hear what your soul says. And notice what the audience does. Notice their reaction. And also I'd like you to notice how you feel about what your soul just said. I mean, how does it land in you? What does it make you think about yourself? I'd also like you to go back a little bit quickly, straight back in childhood again. We're back being a little kid. And I'd like you to remember how it felt for you as a little child. What were some things for you that weren't sitting right? Where this is the dichotomy where you are a spirit being and you've become human. What wasn't sitting right around that for you? Some of you more extreme than others, but really important for you to have quick little cognition moments of some of those interesting moments for you where it was just weird for you being a spirit in a human body. Slightly wasn't kind of connecting, where you noticed the weirdness about it. And just staying there and feeling that, everyone, and keeping your eyes closed just for a moment longer. I just want to say that today, my spirit guides, these senior levels of the worlds of spirit, wow, they just wanted you to walk a little bit with your soul, to watch it, to hear it, to see it. Because there is this very weird, strange thing happening where we are out facing into our life and we forget the truth that we are this huge being of light who's silent and observing and witnessing. So today is all about turning around and witnessing that huge being of light that we are. That's what today's session's all about. This is my spirit, these senior levels of the world of spirit want to massage that in us, want to really push our attention into that, because they want us to merge with our soul and walk and talk more and more, because incrementally it never ends. The merging, the grafting, higher and higher. They want to gift us with an opportunity to go grafting higher up into our soul and walk and talk with our soul prompting our thoughts, our soul prompting our emotions, our soul getting heard for what it wants to achieve, our soul, getting witnessed and having someone turn around and be present with it so that it gets to communicate to us what it originally incarnated for. Because for some of us, that's a mystery. Even for some of us who are sharing and serving and in conscious serving mode, sometimes we're not in alignment with what the soul is wanting to communicate to us and with the soul's needs. Very, very, very important. I want to just, John, I just want to check with you, and I'd love for you to share just very quickly, what did your soul say when it was talking at the United Nations to the world leaders?
Oh, it was really a calling to wake up. It's like it was a calling forward into that leadership and everybody represented there, and that it was just time, that the time has come in our evolution, that it's time to wake up that fully and to recognize the light that is present in all of us and within them, within me. And it's time for the world to step into that. So it's a very strong message about leadership and about
Very
being this
good.
emanation of light and owning that light.
Yeah. Did it feel good being in that forum
Oh, it felt
and
wonderful.
and
It felt
having
right.
that chance? You know?
Yeah, it felt right. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And again, and how it also emanated from this awareness, even from when I was young. It's all the same mission taken in new context as we're aware of what's out in the world.
Absolutely. A new context. I love that.
Yeah.
What were some stories for you when you were a little kid that were kind of the misalignment of the huge being that you are landing as a human?
Well, the misalignment was seeing so much chaos and turmoil and violence in my life, and understanding that love was always a solution, but the adults didn't understand that. They kept perpetuating the fights. It's like, but don't you, it's like it was confusing how they didn't see the way out. And so that would throw me off. And so I learned to try to adjust into that world, because that's how I could be received, associated with, understood at some level. But it always felt off, and it felt like I was living in another world, because that essence of love is really the intelligence of love, let me rephrase that, is really what was leading from me. And I felt so alone in that. You know, everybody else is speaking Chinese and I'm here speaking normally and I don't understand the translation. Yeah.
How did it feel? Goodness gracious me. Here you are, this blissful bunny full of love, and you're in the cacophony of the machinations of all the emotional turmoil. It's kind of like everybody trying to figure themselves out and not being able to even communicate comfortably.
Well, the essence of it, which I suffered nightmares through up
Oh my
until my
gosh.
adult life, it felt abysmal. It felt like no matter, I was in this free fall that I was never going to hit bottom. It was that far removed from the truth. It felt hellish. At the deepest recesses of my consciousness, as expressed through my psyche and my dreams that were recurring, that had me in this turmoil. Other than that, it felt isolating. It felt like I had to be in my own, I had to create my own world in order to have that sense of intimacy that I craved. So it's very it created a lot of independence, but it created a lot of self-nurturing,
Wow.
right?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. To create the intimacy that you craved.
Yeah.
And so you had to create this. Oh my gosh. That's so poignant, I have to say.
Mm.
So poignant. You know, this beautiful, beautiful being arriving on planet Earth and having to cope and creating ways to cope and adjust, adapt.
Oh, I'm sure a
Good.
lot of people on the call tonight can
Of
resonate
course,
off of that.
everyone.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting you to talk about it, because everyone's going, oh my God, it was me too. You know, this is the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everybody, totally. But it doesn't take away from the intensity of the poignancy of the truth of what you're sharing, which is just sort of beyond poignant, you know, because everybody on this call is putting their hand up going, that's exactly what happened for us.
Yeah.
It's like this. How did we manage? How did we keep hold of our hearts amongst it all, you know?
Yeah. And then the question is, why? Why did we come into this experience and have that? And look at how perhaps we're so much more in touch than we were taught to be, or than we were raised to be. But again, we got taught to a different type of school, if you will, to get to this point.
I want to say you've just nailed it right there. So our soul is so powerful, right? Your soul is so powerful. Everybody, I want everyone to hear this, because this is the big point. Can we push against our own soul? Because it's determined. It's going to find a way. It's so big. It's so ancient. It's got so much drive and so much fortitude and so much commitment to this moment, you know, of being human. It's got that much commitment. It's like off the scale. So it found a way. It found a way for us to survive and to be here now in our awareness of what we are, to a degree.
Right.
To a degree. We've got here, wherever here is, you know? we're still here, we're still in our human spacesuits, we're still breathing, but we're not in that jungle anymore. We're making our own choices and our own decisions. We're taking cleaner air, right? We're monitoring and, you know, not being amongst too poisonous a resonance. You know, we're kind of like monitoring the resonance space that we're in a little bit more, like we're in control of that now. But not only that, there's the time is clicking of this physical body, right? And this huge, determined, committed being of light wants to push its shoe through the gap, and create something. John, you are creating huge ripples of light in so many people's lives, thousands of people's lives, right? Huge honoring, respect, and kudos to you. Right?
Thank
So,
you.
no, really. And so despite everything, you grabbed the joystick of the plane and took control. Okay, I really have to bust through. Your soul just decided to take control and come back on course to what it was originally wanting to do.
Yeah, I definitely had one trajectory that I thought I was on, and it's like put the brakes on and slammed them on. It's like, we're going this way. And that still happens from time to time. It's like, okay, let's go.
Do you want to describe that moment? Like, how did it feel? Because I'll describe my moment like that too. What happened?
I had what I call the dam cracking open, and just this way of intuition and connection into other realms and into my guides just became so present and part of my daily experience, rather than glimpses that perhaps I would have occasionally in my life. Again, the light switch flipped, and there was just no turning back. And one of the key ignitions of that, I remember I was driving with my ex-wife in the car, and I had been going through these transitions, and we were talking about what we're doing in life and how we were going to navigate this next level. And she was aware of my spiritual awakening, and she was seeing me blossoming in it. And I was meditating, doing these spiritual practices, sharing, journaling about my dreams, all these things. And she was that's really cute. That's wonderful. You look really happy. That's so great. You do that on the side over here. And the girls and I, we had two daughters, the girls and I will kind of hang out here, and we'll just kind of meet in the middle, and we'll just kind of create my life that way. And I was like, I can't separate my life like that. This is who I am. I cannot segment for the sake of accommodating this illusion of what life is supposed to look like. And I'm not going to teach my daughters that either. And that was a point that I knew there was just no turning back, that I had to be true to what was coming through.
Wow.
Yeah. So relationship proved to be a very powerful initiator, and also a liberator as well, because it was because of that relationship and the way that she showed up that she showed me the disparity as part of our soul agreement, I believe. And she really set me free so I can go forward and into this other trajectory that was truly calling me.
Incredible moments of recognition.
Yeah. What was yours?
Several actually like that, but just really quickly, my journey just really quickly was that I went to university, and my first year at university I met, and he became my boyfriend, and this lovely guy was meditating TM. So I jumped really quickly. This was at 17, jumped into TM practices. Our household, I was still living at home, was very noisy, and I just wanted stillness. So I went, okay, TM, let's just grab something for inner stillness. But then I moved out and went straight into a student household, which was run by a woman who was renting out her house, but one of her sons would come and visit sometimes. And the first time I saw him, I knew his energy was different to any other energy that I'd ever met before in my life.
Mm.
And subsequently, he started to tell me about that he was a follower of a spiritual teacher from India. And 8 months later, he finally invited me up to a group who were meeting and having satsang, basically, and listening to the teachings of this Indian spiritual teacher. Well, I felt like 17, I was very young, but by that time I felt very ancient and I knew what I was looking for. And the resonance of this guy, he didn't have any ego. He was just this wonderful, normal person, but at his core, I could feel that something was different to everybody else because he'd been initiated by this Indian spiritual master into a lineage of meditation from ancient India. See, these Indian masters don't just teach techniques of meditation, they have lineages of initiation. And so if somebody gets initiated by one of these people who is a major avatar, then they're changed. It's like home arrives, the energy of spirit home arrives in them and you can feel it. And so I ended up following the spiritual master for 16 years and living in an ashram for 6 years and being 100 million% just committed to God consciousness and deep states of meditation and diving in. And then we all walked away from that system of ashrams and things and just started to live normal lives. And then I met someone that I married and sort of pulled away from that whole framework. And we started to try and run a business together. But I was this dude who was 100 million% committed to God consciousness. I kind of like, then there was this one day where I was just driving a car through an amber light, right? It just turned amber from green. And a car came across and my car got very damaged. But I just stepped out of that car with a couple of little bruises on my knee.
Wow.
Nothing at all. But that night I was lying down and someone was doing Reiki or some healing on me. And my guides just flooded in. I think I'd already started talking to my guides by then. And they just said, stop trying to kill yourself. You are so bored. Your soul is so bored. See, you can imagine somebody who'd already had 16 years of this deep training.
Yeah.
Who was trying to run a business and wasn't really plugging into anything. It's like, no, it's not who you are. Anyway, I'm on this table and they say, you've got to let go of your job because I was employed at that time. You've got to step away from everything and start doing spiritual healing. So I just resigned from my steady employment and just started spiritual healing. Now, I didn't have any customers, didn't have any clients, but I just started. And that means you don't know where your rent's coming from and you just let go, you just do it. Because at that seniority of training, of spiritual training, because I was long in the tooth already with a lot of spiritual training, you just follow, your commitment to God consciousness is there. It's like, okay, you just jump. Really, really scary. It was very, very scary. So this is, I point to that moment sometimes when I'm talking about the soul because, and I just want to talk about this a little bit because your soul is a being that talks. Like I talk to my spirit guides. It's also important to talk to your soul. And I want to talk about that because your soul is a part of you that's a conscious, sentient being who has different opinions to us sometimes, and it actually is waiting for a moment where you turn around and say, is there anything you want to say to me? Like this, like my guide saying, hey, your soul is so bored. It's trying to kill itself. You really need to get 100% committed to the next level, to the next stage of your life, which is just spiritual healing. And that was 30 years ago. So, this is a really, really important point for all of you watching this, everyone, is that your soul is waiting for you to turn around and talk to it.
I love that. That's not something that's talked about. Absolutely.
It's so important because I'm not sure if if that's something we talk about, talking to our spirit guides a lot, but
Right.
you know, your soul has an agenda. It really has made a huge effort to get here, and it's on a roll, it's on a mission. Guys, I'm going to invite every single one of you just very quickly to close your eyes, and I'm going to invite you to, we're going to turn around and just talk to our soul. We've
Okay.
already had a play a little bit, but just very quickly, very briefly.
Can I
So
ask you, can I ask you one
yes,
clarifying question before we
yeah,
go in?
yeah.
What's the difference between our higher self and our soul? Or are they the same?
Very similar. I find that jumping into the world of spirit, I fly in the worlds of spirit all the time with my guides every day for these 3 decades. Once you get into the worlds of spirit, words, instruction words are very important, because they listen very, very carefully to the resonance of the words you use with your instructions to them. That's really important. But labels, I use labels very carefully when I want to very specifically talk to different teams and tribes that I want to partner with me for something, for whatever it is, right? So their label is their sound code. And that's really important, because it's a soup of resonance, and you want to use a particular resonance sound code, like a tuning fork, when you're wanting to target and grab a certain tribe and team to work with you for something. It's really important. Excuse me. But I also want to say that human words, we really have got zero clue about what happens in the worlds of spirit. I mean, we can see a little bit. It's like the blind man, you know, with the elephant. We can see a little part of the worlds of spirit, really, honestly, because our senses are quite limited. But so when it comes to terminology like higher self and soul, you know, the truth is that it's a quantum reality, and we've got an energetic anatomy of energy bodies which hold the vibration of our thoughts and our emotions and all of our soul history. And these energy bodies have functions of pushing our emotions and our thoughts. You see, a lot of people, just really quickly, it's a bit technical, but your aura controls your thinking. Your aura controls your emotions, because your aura is containing all your memory. And so we're not going into that today, but shadow entities, through something we've picked up, will control the tone of your thinking, will control obsessive thought loops, will control your brain and push you lower and lower and lower and lower into emotions and into inner states. So we have to be incredibly vigilant about what's sitting in our aura. So our beautiful energy bodies of this lifetime, of this incarnation, are the 7 energy bodies. And then octaves, our energy body then translates into higher octaves and higher octaves and higher octaves. And you could call that your higher soul selves. You can call that your higher selves. They all have very specific resonances and very specific jobs to do to mentor us. So all of these higher octaves of us, they've all got their own kind of personalities in a way, and roles to play in our human self. They're all interacting. So yeah, you can, excuse me, you can merge up and be grafted up. Working with spirit tutors, their job is to be rewirers. That's what they do. And they can, on your request, rewire you and graft you further and further and further up, settling you into higher soul bodies so that you arrive from that point as you speak and as you think. So just letting you know that it's incredibly technical. It's not just a vague one-word thing, right, that we can put on us.
I love the clarification.
Yeah. However, I just want to say that okay, so everybody, closing your eyes. Let's do this quick process. This is really important, and I'd like each of you to do this every day, actually, because your soul's drive and commitment, it's really hot, it's very powerful, as you heard earlier. It'll just steer you in your life. It wants to talk to you about its commitment, right? So it's very, very important. Closing your eyes, taking a deep breath. I'd like you to imagine that there's two chairs and that you're sitting in one chair. And over in the other chair is a beautiful, beautiful being of light looking at you, smiling and kind of giggling and laughing. And this is your soul. You know, you might want to just leap out of your chair and give it a hug if you want to. And I want you to ask your soul right now, how are you feeling? Ask it, how is your soul feeling? Just play with this, guys, because it's all metaphorical, but it's important to get the feedback. If you're not used to visualization, just switch on pretend mode. It's just as good. And ask your soul, am I on track? Nice and simple. The big thing is to watch its reactions. Am I on track? Sometimes when you're chatting in the worlds of spirit, notice the feelings coming from that being. They might not give you words, but they will give you feelings and reactions. Am I on track? And ask your soul, is there something you want to say about that? You can ask your soul for a visual. Does it want to show you something? And I'd like you to ask your soul, what do you want to do at this time in my life? What do you want to create at this time in my life? Take your time, everyone. Just relaxing. And ask your soul, one last thing, ask it, what makes you happy? so important to be aligned with your soul. I would like each of you to do this practice every day. Nice and simple, 2 chairs. Let your soul sit there in the other chair and ask it a really simple question. What would make you happy today? As you got your eyes closed, I want to say that if your soul is not happy, this causes and can cause huge disruption in your life. It can cause illness and it can cause death. So turning to your soul and getting that information from them is critical for you to get up in the morning and enjoy and be on track, but also to give your soul the space to enjoy itself if it wants to contribute, to serve, or to give it what it needs, so that there's harmony and alignment between the human self and the soul self. Incredibly important. You know, there's something a little bit controversial. We've all got our eyes closed still, but some incredible light workers sort of drive themselves into the ground physically. They leave their physical bodies behind in order to serve, and then get really sick and really ill. So for me, I'm not sure what the soul would say about that. If we turn to, if we turn to our soul and said, what do you think about me just ignoring my body and just serving humanity without supporting my body as well? I'm not sure. I just putting that in because it's kind of a chronic thing with light workers sometimes, where we're in such a hurry, and so our priorities can be a little unbalanced in terms of sustainability. So very, very important. All right, everybody, taking a deep breath and opening your eyes. And I just want to ensure that you understand how critical that is to meet with your soul. There's a partnership there. There's to meet with it regularly, daily. Let's fill our days with that feeling of alignment with our soul, surrendering to your soul's needs. Now, at this stage in our lives, surrendering to our soul's needs.
It's such a beautiful intelligence and great practice. And again, we seek intimacy in our lives, and yet we don't have the intimacy with these parts of ourselves. And so as we bring that in, everything else switches, and it comes with the alignment with the integrity of our full light being merged in wholeness, which is so beautiful. Alicia, this is powerful. This is so amazing. And yeah, I highly recommend that you guys do this on a daily basis also. This is so critical. And Alicia, you go into this and so much more in your special offer and what you put together for us. And I want to make sure that we give that ample time. We're already at an hour in the call. Amazing. April has typed into the chat box the link for the special offer. You guys can just click on that link. It'll take you directly to the special offer page. Or you can type in a new browser if you choose to do that. The following: beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Alicia26, and it'll take you to the special offer page. And Alicia, guide us through. There's 2 special offers you put together here, and it's the soul course, of course. But what are people going to get to participate in when they dive in deeper with you?
Oh my God, I'm so excited about this, you guys. One of the reasons I'm excited about this, just very quickly, let me just play with my computer here, won't be a second. One of the reasons I'm beyond excited is that I am launching this course for the first time here on Beyond the Ordinary. I'm very, very excited. So this course is walking with your soul, and it is word for word channeled by these senior beings of the worlds of spirit as a gift to humanity. Very simple practices, a beautiful walkthrough training on how to turn around and start getting to know your soul, taking it incredibly seriously. There's 3 to 4 introductory lectures before you actually get into the meat of the course and the training. And it's surrounded and cushioned by deep meditations where you get to walk with your soul with very, very deep meditations where you get to turn around and just commune with your soul. So it's quite just gorgeous, just gorgeous. And people who've taken this course absolutely love it. They notice when they take the course that it's a priority in their life. So this whole course is like a gift to you, to everyone, that this communing and connecting with who you are, this is not a separate part of us. This is what you are, who you are. So it's looking in the mirror, remembering. This is about remembering. This is actually pretty much the most poignant thing in your life. You know, John, you described your childhood, you know, where we screeched to a halt on the tarmac of physicality, screeched to a halt, and smashed and bashed our way into adulthood, trying to figure out. But what was it? It was this huge being of light. So this course is reintroducing you to who you are as a being of light. It's a reunion. It's a very poignant, very love-filled, very gentle. The spirit world stands around and helps you remember who you are as a being of light. It's so chocker full, juicy, full of love. It's sort of heart-blowing and mind-blowing. This is what this course is. What this course is. So it's delivered straight from spirit for you guys to walk back into the remembering of who you are as a being of light. Big, big gift. Big, big gift. So the course, I'm not sure if you want me just to go quickly through. Oh my God. So
I do it. There's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot, isn't there? So this is the first special offer. The second special offer is a extra couple of packages, which are incredible, which you have me live monthly training you. And these channeling directly these high creator beings, these senior levels of the worlds of spirit, and live workshops. But this one here, this course, Walking with Your Soul, is just incredible. Meeting your own divine soul, channeled practices, senior guides taking you deeper and deeper into your connection with your soul, meeting the one that you are, a reunion beyond time and space, and it's about time. So I've been putting this course together for the last couple of weeks, and I've had so much fun just finalizing it for everybody and putting all the audios and editing the audios and getting it ready for you. So it's a very delicate reunion where you are taken very, very gently into moments where you do start noticing why you're so driven in this lifetime, why you're so motivated in particular spiritual directions. Again, finding out what your soul agenda is. These are critical things. You know, nobody taps you on the shoulder and says, hey guys, after university or after school and after college, you now come into this training, which is who is your soul.
Right.
Nobody does that.
No.
Right? So this is a beautiful introduction just to your soul. Get to know who is looking out of your eyes. Spend time with this precious being. Notice what it wants. Find out if it wants to convey an important message to you over and over and over and over again, and then start picking up on that commitment. Start becoming that soul. Start taking leaps into allowing that soul its full expression in this lifetime. Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
So
want to go through. I want to go through some of the modules. Just a quick glimpse.
You go through it. You go
as you read. And again, in the first package, and it goes deeper in this, but I'll give you the synopsis: conversations of your soul. Then it goes into soul longing demystified. Then we get into further into the how-to of this course. So there's a preparation meditation. Then you get walking with your soul, which is an introduction of ancient knowledge, memories, and agenda. Um, you get exploring your soul's fears. So fascinating, right? Keeping your soul happy, giving your soul a voice, getting to know your highest soul self, and meeting your beloved soul mentors. And then the energy body of your soul, and how to look after that. And that's just part of the first special offer. And I want to give you guys, I know y'all are reading it, but this is quite a long page because it's so robust in what you're receiving. But these are, again, Alicia, these are the things that we've all questioned, but we didn't know how to ask for the information necessary, or we felt, like you said, a soul longing for it. And we've been searching in all these different places on how to have these connections or find meaning behind it, or how to amplify it. And you've condensed it here in a very practical and efficient way. It's like, well, yes, and yes, and yes again. It's so wonderful.
So beautiful. And then the final meditations, the deep dive meditations at the end, which are just really the cherry on the cake. A
Yeah,
joy bath, a joy bath with your soul. That particular meditation just is mind-blowing. I'm not quite sure that's not the right phrase. It's, you know how you feel like you explode with love? That's the feeling I'm trying to convey, because nothing is said in that meditation. You get taken into a space with your soul when nothing is said, but everything is understood. It's like you begin to, well, you're just looking at this being and it starts to reveal itself to you. So it's
Wow.
completely mind-blowing. I know. This is the sort of power behind these trainings. Moments of recognition, of realization, of remembering. Just powerful. Oh my gosh, I'm just feeling emotional just thinking about it.
So beautiful.
Anyway, and the last meditation is something that I love to do, which is invite very high realms of love and light in the worlds of spirit to download extremely high light intelligence into our soul body. And what happens inside this particular meditation is that there is a spirit surgery grafting of your higher soul bodies with your human energy systems.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the final one.
Amazing. And again, that's the first package. That's package A for $97. And then in package B, they get everything else and 6 months membership to your monthly live stream.
Yeah, this is, you know, the monthly live stream is sort of beyond powerful, because it's right now what is taking place in the weather, the psychic weather surrounding planet Earth, surrounding humanity, the dynamics in the worlds of spirit, and the teams of spirit beings that awaken us. It just so graphically, so powerfully, so poignantly as a group. Honestly, everybody I know takes days to recover from it. It is so, it really is very, 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 very powerful. So it's a 1.5 hour being in the presence of these creator beings. They walk me and talk me and take us into very high light realms and sort of work with us. And it's always very topical on what is taking place right now. And just last Friday, we had our November one, and it was probably the most powerful one so far. It was just right off the scale. Anyway, 6 months of that, so you get a bit of a discount on that 6-month package of that 1.5 hour. And my favorite thing to do, I'm very committed, because these creative beings are committed in these live streams. I quietly want to say to everybody, these creative beings that I've played with and have mentored me and initiated me and trained me for these 3 decades are committed to humanity and are committed to any human who shows up on these live streams to pick you up and push you higher. So, and we act as a little bit of a springboard, as a springboard for the energies flowing out, highlight flowing out to the rest of the collective. So it's actually a role we're playing, showing up to these, because these overseer mentors are very on hand for humanity as a collective, the electromagnetics of the collective field, and taking a look at the direction it's going, where its level of perception is. So we act as a bit of a radar dish as a group in these live streams, but also individually, the upgrades are just humongous. So just letting you know. So the live stream is pretty amazing. And again, you get me as a package with something we're about to start in a couple of days, December the 1st. I'm very excited. And these are live practices once a month. It's only $10 as a subscription, excuse me. And I get to take you into moments with your spirit guides where you get to hear them clearly. So you can have two-way conversations about your soul direction, your life direction. And so these are very key moments. And many, many people have signed up for this now because they know that they have to have these conversations with their guides. So it's a monthly practice live with me, and it just clicks around every month. You just get to dive into these deep spaces with your spirit guides. So it's called dialogue with your guide.
I love it. What time do the calls happen?
I beg your pardon?
At what time of the day do the calls happen?
The calls happen. All my events are always at 9 p.m. ET.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. This is robust, Alicia. This is deep. I mean, you shared a little bit, which was a lot on tonight's call. So it's fascinating. And again, y'all, the special offer, it's again, package A is $97, and just that alone is golden. That's the way you've broken this down, Alicia, is really impressive to me. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
But then to get to add the 6 months of live with Alicia, and you can feel what we're into today. So imagine 6 months of pure Alicia coming in with these divine beings and this pure energy, really activating, transmuting, rewiring through those live streams. And then again, the 6 months of the subscription of dialoguing with your guide, that monthly live practice as well, that's included in package B as well. And package B, again, you get everything in package A, plus the subscriptions. It's $284 on that. And there's a 2-payment option on that as well. And again, to go deep in that way and get into those powerful vortexes that Alicia guides us into. That's profound, Alicia. Thank you for launching that and for sharing that here on Beyond the Ordinary. It's so grateful.
I'm so excited to give it out. Just like
oh my God, we're so ready. We're so ready for this. Everybody, the link again, April, we type it in the chat box one more time so it's really accessible at the bottom. And make sure that you address it to everyone. So that'll pop up there in a second. Or actually, you know what? Oh, there it is. Awesome. So you can find it there. Or again, you can open up a new browser and just type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Alicia26. Alicia, what is coming through? I feel something like popping in the field. I know that you're being pulled to say something.
Oh my gosh.
Feel it.
Well, so my spirit guides just want to say, none of this is real. Physicality is not real. You need to know that. You guys are all advanced. You need to remember that. And so it's tiptoeing through the tulips. It's having fun. It's playing in a stream of light. It's not hard work, everyone. It's playing in the stream of light with joy, the frequency of joy. If it's not, they're telling me like the speedometer, if it's not in joy, if it's hard, they're saying you're on the wrong stream. You're in the wrong stream. Everybody hear this, because light workers can make things tough for themselves. Yes. And we all need help. And they're saying, We're crowding, my spirit guides are saying, we're crowding around. We're capable of changing your reality in a second. Electromagnetics is their thing. Waveforms in the quantum world is their thing. They're super masters at technicians at changing resonance.
Right.
So they're saying we're crowding around. You've got us. We're a captured audience for you.
Well, Alicia, how do we make that flip from constantly being at war or on guard in that reptilian brain and into, wait, we're going to switch it around into this and make that adjustment that quickly?
Okay, so it's about commanding. Some of you guys already understand that. So it's about a depth of intention in that moment. Sometimes when we're in pain, fortunately or unfortunately, it helps us dig into a depth of intention, doesn't it?
It does.
Because in that moment of pain, and sometimes that's the moment where life changes. Because we go, I'm out of here. I don't need this level of pain. And in that moment, you remember you're a spirit being and that there's spirit technicians around you because you're just in a virtual reality chair and they're standing around you, watching you watch your movie. And so in that moment, you just say to these guys, shortcut me now, shortcut.
Yeah.
You guys can do it. You can change the script in a half a second. Guys, commanding, you guys are advanced, I can say this. So from that depth of powerlessness, of pain, whatever it is, of self-hate, who knows what it's going to be, but it's a springboard of this is not what I'm needing right now. I need the other resonance. And the clue there is, who are you talking to in that moment? Because if you talk to somebody inside your virtual reality movie, they don't have the skill. But if you talk to the co-directors of the virtual reality movie, they do have the skill to change your script. Guys, this is just the biggest clue I've just said. It's about who you're talking to.
I love that.
And there are junior levels and senior levels. Just remember that one too.
Oh, that's such great awareness and such great advice for tapping into that resonance. Oh, Alicia, what do you feel's coming through in these shifting energy? Again, we have so many events happening energetically. What's your sense of what's coming through or what's being facilitated through the shifts?
Yeah, so I work with layers of the worlds of spirit that deal with very high layers of currents of shadow, very high up. So I'm watching that weather up there. And that right now, big clouds are forming and dynamics of jockeying for ownership of consciousness territory is happening. It's just because light and the armies of light aren't interested in being pushed around too much anymore, and they're very seriously wanting to lower the control level that shadow has on light, on the sentience experiment, which is us, humanity. And sentience means self-awareness, right? So we're the self-awareness experiment, humanity. Anyways, so I just want to say, I haven't said this much, and there's a major crescendo of that dynamic happening around the end of December. So there's a build-up right now, and they're just telling me the weather is quite sort of full on at the moment up there, the psychic weather. And so everyone just stay calm. It's nearly the end of December, and just breathe and just kind of like let it pass. Click over Christmas, end of the year, and let's just hopefully everything's cool. Like because that weather does trickle down. It's a bit like a solar flare, it does. The electromagnetics, it does trickle down. Just letting everybody know. So I'm just wondering if there's anything else my teams just need to say about that. No, they're very happy that I just mentioned it.
Good.
So, Yeah.
Good. And to give context to the solar flare activity that's been happening over the last few months, it's been quite profound.
So has there been extra
Oh yeah,
big solar flares?
there's been huge solar flares. They call it the X flares that have been coming in
Mhm.
that are multiplied compared to your typical type of solar flare, which is already augmented. Um, so it's been extraordinary, and it affects our energy. It affects our wiring. We're being rewired, and we're adjusting to another level of being in resonance with that type of charge. So if we felt loopy or confused or tired or craving foods or picking up more on collective energies, why are we feeling something that doesn't feel like my everyday, and that's why am I being taken there? It's all that's just part of what can occur for people who have certain sensitivities and they can have certain experiences. But I bring it up because that's certainly not what's going to keep prevailing in your field. It's again part of those initiations, I guess, or
Mhm.
acclimations
Mhm.
into a different vibratory state of being.
We are very brave being here in this
Yeah,
experiment, and as souls, and we're indestructible.
I love that. I love that you say that. Yes.
We are, because this is not this is just a figment of someone's imagination, our
Wow.
own and a collective, and others higher up as well. And so we're just walking through these experiences, these initiations, and learning how to stay in love,
Mm,
which comes all the way back to you as a child. That's all you were about, was love.
yeah,
So it's a beautiful reminder, everybody watching this. Let's just love.
it's just
And
love.
the Dalai Lama just said the most beautiful thing the other day. He's like so simple, and I kind of went, oh, that's so simple. Just with whoever's in front of you, he said, just be kind. You know, the Dalai Lama, that's what he says. You know, just be
Yeah.
kind, be compassionate. He said, your life will just be much happier if you just stay in kindness and
Mm.
gentleness and equanimity and be nice to people.
Imagine that.
I
Is that how that
thought,
works? It's so, yeah, it's so simple. You know, so it's like,
yeah,
oh, yes, thank you. Oh my
yeah,
God, amazing.
it really
Y'all,
spoke to me.
everybody, we're going to run the replay of the call all week long. So you'll have it during your Thanksgiving break, into the weekend, the special offers up. The replay link will send out an email. You can always access replays by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. Super easy to find. And of course, Alicia's special offer, April's typed into the chat box again. You can find it in the marketplace on the website. Tap into it now so you can start getting into the activations, start getting into that communication with the soul. I so love the program you put together. And again, two different options to choose from, package A or package B, which includes package A. Um, and they both have two payment options. They're just no brainers and just so potently activating in that remembrance. So that's amazing. Amazing what's being offered there.
We are soul, you are soul. Get to know it.
Mm,
Get to know it.
yeah. And Alicia, as we're wrapping up, I have to ask you, what's bringing you joy at this time?
Doing this work
Yeah.
above everything else, doing this work,
Mm,
being of service and sharing the consciousness and the resonance from my creator being, they're not mine, from
mm,
these senior levels of the worlds of spirit. They guide so gently, unremittingly and clearly. They just guide so powerfully, and also their capability. It just blows my mind, and I just love it. I love their capability, which is playing with the full collective resonance of humanity and of Mother Earth herself, with history, you know, all the parallel realities. Their capability is just so big. So I love playing at that level, and it's really exciting. And I just love being just a little faucet, you know, a little access way for them into anyone else who loves to play with them as well. To you
mm.
guys to hear them and to receive their resonance too. So that honestly, that gives me the biggest joy.
Oh, I bet your soul loves it too.
Yeah.
When you say it that way, I'm sure your soul saying yes. So good. Oh my God, Alicia, this has been so wonderful. Again, those processes you took us through were so just so good. And such beautiful connections. So I'm gonna go back and do that soul process over and over again. I'm gonna go back and listen to the first one where I went deeply into those different parts of my life. It's again, y'all, the replay is gonna be up, and go deeper with Alicia and the special offer. And with that, Alicia, just thank you for what you're doing and how you show up, and just this happy, amazing soul that you bring through for all of us to get to experience and witness and have a mirror for what's possible. So
Mm.
such deep appreciation for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, John. Stay safe.
I'm safe's not even a thing. It's beyond that. Stay joyful.
Stay
Stay
joyful
joyful.
on your
Y'all,
journeys.
yes, y'all stay joyful. Open it up. Talk to your soul. Talk. Be kind.
Be
Love.
kind.
Love.
Be
And with that, I
kind.
bow
Be
down to
kind to
everyone.
people.
Yes. Amazing. All right, y'all. I love you guys. Y'all are amazing. It's wonderful to share this space with you. Alicia, again, thank you. And I look forward to seeing y'all on the next Beyond the Ordinary call, wherever
Thank
you
you,
happen.
John.
Y'all have a
Thank
great night.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.